Why, hello there, old sports, and welcome to the Thorns of Agony only run, where I can only do damage via Thorns of Agony, minus a few specific cases, but we'll get to that. Thorns of Agony is a charm that activates when you take damage. So the first logical question that would come up is, how do I not die? Because if your only form of dealing damage is via taking damage, that's probably not very sustainable. And you'd be right, dear viewer. So I have a strategy, and we'll get to that soon. But I would just like to say thank you for watching, hope you enjoy, and stick around, because you're going to love how I end up killing the Radiants. After running through Queen's Pass, I immediately try to fight the Brooding Moloch, and while we do that, I will explain my strategy. The strategy all revolves around 3 charms, other than, well, technically it revolves around 4 charms, because Thorns of Agony is there and it's important. But the other 3 charms are where things really get interesting. First of all, we have Grub Song. Makes it so that when we take damage, we get soul. And we get about 11, 15 soul. I think it's 15 soul. Then, we have Grubberfly's Elegy. And the thing that Grubberfly's Elegy does is it has a synergy with Grub Song, where you get 25 soul per hit instead of just 10 or 15. So that means if we take 2 hits, we get 50 soul. And then, the last charm in this strategy is Deep Focus. And Deep Focus makes it so we have a slower healing time, but we also heal 2 masks per focus. So, getting that added together, when I take 2 hits of damage, I gain 50 soul, use 33 to heal 2 masks, and then I'm back to where I was at the beginning, but now I have more soul than I started with, so I can technically get infinite soul through this. And I felt like this was more interesting than just doing Hive Blood, because Hive Blood I just spent like half the run just standing there, or I went to Hornet before giving up on it, because it took me like 40 minutes just to reach Hornet, just like doing the 90% route. It was painful, because you just have to stand there waiting for 10 seconds every time you get hit for the thing to recover. So I felt like this was more interesting, and it also solves a problem with a certain sun goddess later, so we'll deal with her later, but yeah, that's how we deal with Brooding Moloch. I also went and killed False Knight and Gruzmother. Each of them I had to use my nail. I had to wake up Gruzmother with my nail because otherwise I couldn't take any contact damage from her. And then you can't take any contact damage from the Maggot with False Knight, so I just hit him with my nail there. Hopefully you can forgive me. We kind of need to do that so the rest of the challenge can happen, which is the more interesting part anyway, so sacrifices, I guess. Next up, I lead a Vengefly over to Vengefly King so it can hit me into Vengefly King, activating Thorns of Agony, thus dropping Zoe and allowing me to fight the Vengefly King. I said Vengefly King a lot there. The Vengefly King is kind of annoying because you can really only hit him when he comes down to dive bomb you, and then all the little minions he summons are annoying to deal with, but I dealt with it. But more importantly, we saved Zote, and he will come in, he will be relevant much later, because reasons that I will get to later. Next up is Hornet, who's an easy boss because I'm able to tank most of her attacks and just hit her with the Thorns. And a little quirk about Thorns is it only hits for 1 times your nail damage, but sometimes it will hit twice. Like the Thorns hitbox will linger long enough to hit the boss twice, or it will just hit them twice. I don't know exactly how the charm is programmed to work. But, so you can technically do twice your nail damage per activation, depending on spacing or positioning, or just luck sometimes it feels like. So that's a really good quirk about Thorns. And then basically with Hornet, I just wait to heal during her Gossamer Storm, or when she throws her Needle, and then just tank damage the rest of the time, and then just take her out that way. And again, Hornet 1 is really easy, it's Hornet 1. Hornet 2 is a little bit more annoying, but we'll get to her in a bit, because I'm doing the true ending. Well, I don't know why it's called the true ending, because I guess it was it was the most satisfying ending, I don't know. After that, I go back to the Crossroads and then rush through the Fungal Waste entrance in the Crossroads to get to the Mantis Village and then get Mantis Claw, and then after that, I go save Breda. Oddly enough, watching back the footage, I noticed that I opened the door to the deeper Mantis Village, even though I never end up going back there or fighting Mantis Lords for some reason. So, I don't know why I did that, but I guess I did for some reason. There was really no reason to. Next up, I do the Blue Lake Shade Skip, and you may be thinking, hey, you're not damaging that with Thorns of Agony, and you'd be right, but self-harm is kind of on theme right now anyway, so who cares. Anyways, after that, I go get the Dream Nail and then go fight Zero, and let me remind you, Zero is easy, don't be like Zero, put up more of a fight please. Using the nearby elevator, I descend down into the city, open up the Stag Station, grab the relic. I don't know what a relic is. And then I go fight the Gorgeous Husk, and by fight, I mean ram my face into it over and over until it dies. Yippee! No, but seriously, I don't know if I can even call half of what I'm doing fighting. I'm just letting the enemy literally hurt themselves to death. I don't know. This run is confusing. Once I meet my quota of rich zombies murdered, I then go on to open up a few shortcuts in the upper part of the Cities of Tears, and then go down to Lem to sell off all my relics, because I need the cash. And then after that, I end up going to the nailsmith and then upgrading my nail because of obvious reasons. Now that my nail is basically twice as strong as it was 15 seconds ago, I go and sprint through the Soul Sanctum to fight the Soul Master, and the Soul Sanctum was really annoying because the guys teleport away, so I was kind of worried about Soul Master, but thankfully he stays still a bit more, so it wasn't too hard to take him down. It was just kind of tedious. It took like 3 minutes, but then again, with some of the fights we're going to see later, that is not that bad. But, yeah, so it took me 3 minutes to do that, and I would just try to heal whenever he, like, teleports away, because it usually takes him a little bit to start up a next attack. And the best opportunity to do damage is when he does either of the attacks where he goes across the screen, because he's out, or he's, like, out in the open for a bit, so you can hit him with the double hits from the Thorns more consistently. So that's a good way, that's a good strat. Again, I don't know why I'm phrasing this like a tutorial. None of you guys are going to do this. I'm the only one stupid enough to do this. There was one guy stupid enough to do P5 with only Thorns, but I'm not doing that. Sorry, anyways, tangents aside, Soul Master, pretty easy. And then I went and fought Soul Tyrant and died after like 10 minutes of fighting, so that was painful. After retreating back to Dirtmouth, I buy the lantern from Sly and then head to the Howling Cliffs to fight Gorb. And it's Gorb. I don't really know how to make this part interesting. I kind of just throw my body at him until he just dies because of the thorns piercing out of my skin. I wonder how painful that is for the knight, to be honest. Like, what hurts more, the hit that activates the charm or the charm itself? Because that does not look pleasant. Heading back into Greenpath through the Howling Cliffs, I go fight No Eyes, and she's actually pretty easy, which is odd considering she's usually the problem ghost when it comes to collecting essence. Then after that, I go fight Elder Hu in the Fungal Wastes, and he's also fine, he's just kind of tedious because he floats. He's a floaty guy. Since I just bought the lantern from Sly, well, I guess for you it's only been like a couple seconds, like a minute at most. For me it was like 20 minutes, I guess. Since I had just bought the lantern, I decided now is a good time to go to Crystal Peaks and get the Crystal Dash, because then after that, the game kind of opens up a bit more. Well, it would have if we hadn't shade skipped to Dream... Anyways, I go fight the Crystal Guardian, even though I don't really have a reason to. I just think it's interesting, so I go do it. And the Crystal Guardian is pretty easy. It's just, you just have to be patient and wait for opportunities to heal and then take them when you have them. Then after that, I go get the Crystal Heart and then get the rewards I want from Seer, including Pale Ore. After upgrading my nail a second time, I head down to the Ancient Basin, where I get a second piece of Pale Ore. I need a third one to upgrade it a third time to the Coiled Nail, yes. And then after that, I go and donate all of my life savings to a fountain. Years from now, future scholars will ask the question, why the fuck did he do that? Since we have Crystal Heart, I go fight Broken Vessel, and the thing about Broken Vessel is there is not a lot of opportunities to heal here when you have Deep Focus, because the vessel itself will move around a lot, and then the balloons will be very annoying. So half the fight is just kiting the balloons away from you so you can heal in peace, relatively, while hoping the vessel doesn't dash at you while you're trying to focus. So sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't, but either way, at least if the vessel hits you, you will do damage to it, and if the balloons hit you, that's less balloons you have to deal with for the moment. So, yeah. I didn't fight Lost Kin yet because Lost Kin would kick my ass, and I kind of want to avoid that for now. After getting my wings, I head down to I head through the fungal core to get that mask shard I always forget to get, or I always forget, like, oh yeah, I need to go to the fungal core to get that one mask shard. Anyways, I rush through the rest of Deep Nest, and then go to Nosk, because Pale Ore. After doing the Hollow Knight equivalent of stealing candy from a baby, I go up to the failed tramway and then rescue Zote from all the corpse crawlers. And the thing about the corpse crawlers is usually these guys kind of unnerve me, but it's actually hilarious just watching them run into me and die. So take that. Oh yeah, also I get the tram pass and then skedaddle. Now that I have 2 pale ore, I go back to the nailsmith and learn that I do not have enough geo to upgrade my nail. So, I decide the most reasonable course of action here is to go fight the Watcher Knights, so I can get the geo that they're hiding, so I can buy the so I can buy the coiled nail upgrade. Yes, I'm that stupid. Yes, I'm doing it. Yes, it somehow worked. Yeah, the Watcher Knights they're confusing because when they're rolling, they're immune to your Thorns damage, but other than that, they go down pretty quickly, because at this point we have 14 damage nail, so we're not in too much danger, and they only have about like 220 to 240 health. I forget like which nail upgrades cause them to change their health values, but regardless, the Watcher Knights are pretty easy, and I actually ended up killing 2 of them at once, so the last one was just like, okay, I'm ready to fight, brother. Where's my partner? Why am I by myself? And then my knight is just like approaching them ominously with thorns sprouting out of their body. I don't know. Sorry, I'm having too much fun doing this. Anyways, after that, then I go kill Lurian because he's a little baby man, and we beat the fuck out of little baby mans over on the Puppet Wraith YouTube channel. I don't know if I should say that. Should I say that? Is that going to get me in trouble with someone? Who knows? I'm keeping it in the video. And then after that, after I go sell my relic, and then that gives me just enough, or it will give me like 200 more geo than I need, but it gives me enough geo to upgrade my nail. So now I have the coiled nail, which will be my final nail upgrade I end up using for this playthrough. Or run? Challenge run? I don't know how to call it. I also try to go fight Soul Tyrant again, and that goes as well as you think it does. I think I need... well, it goes badly for a bit, and then I end up beating him, but we'll get to that. After killing Soul Tyrant, I head down to Kingdom's Edge, and then to go fight Hornet 2. And Hornet 2 has 700 HP, making it so it takes roughly about 42 hits to kill her. And that does make sense, considering it is the answer to the universe, the meaning of life, and everything. But, it is a pretty big number, so it's gonna take a bit. Exactly 6 minutes, to be precise. But, Hornet 2 isn't that hard, it's just Hornet 1 but faster, as I have said. And the Thorns of Agony doesn't break the spike traps, so those are kind of just going to be there forever, because I chose not to break them with my nail this time. So you kind of just have to maneuver around them, but thankfully Hornet has a maximum amount she can spawn at once, so I end up just staying in the area where the spike traps aren't, which is obvious. I don't know why I'm explaining that, that's just common sense. And then I do the same strategy of heal during Gossamer Storm or Needle Throw, try to avoid during everything else. There's a few times I try to heal in other opportunities, and it usually ends up biting me in the ass, but I mean, I won, so who's really the winner? Me, I'm the winner. I won the fight. So, yeah, that's how you fight Hornet 2 with Thorns of Agony, is you just plan out which attacks to face tank and which attacks to not do that. I don't know why I'm explaining this. Next up, I fight in the Coliseum because I need to freeze Zote so I can fight Grey Prince Zote so I can get Essence, so I don't have to fight Failed Champion because he does 2 damage per hit, and I'll get into why that's a problem later. Yeah, the Coliseum isn't too hard. Face tanking is somehow a good strategy for this. Also, Bouncy Ball. Now that Zote is free, I return to Dirtmouth and then go to Sly to buy some mask shards, giving me my 7th mask, which is going to be really helpful for our next boss, that being I'm not going to say all the prefixes, Grey Prince Zote. And the thing about Grey Prince Zote is he is a bastard asshole, and that is because he spits out minions that I can't kill in one Thorn Burst unless I get a double hit, and sometimes I don't get double hits. In fact, most of the time I don't get double hits because of how the flies move, and that's really annoying. And the only opportunity to heal is when he spits out enemies. So there's always going to be more enemies, and it's always hard to heal, and it's always annoying, and it took me like 8 or 9 tries to beat this boss. It was very frustrating. I did not like it. This fucker has as much health as Lost Kin does. Why? Why does Lost Kin even have that much health? But still, Lost Kin only has 500 less health than the Radiance. But, no, oh god, or Lost Kin has as much health as the Hollow Knight. Why? Why? No, but back to Great Prince Zoe. Great Prince Zoe is kind of difficult, or like he's kind of difficult, but he's mostly just annoying. This fight is just kind of stupid, especially if you're only using Thorns of Agony, which as we've talked about is what I'm doing. Hey, if you didn't know, 13 minutes in, I'm only using Thorns of Agony. Why did I point that out? Anyways, Great Prince Zoe eventually goes down after much blood, sweat, and tears, and it was only mostly worth the 300 essence. Breaking news, local vessel, Lost Kin, was killed in a drive-by shooting this afternoon at 10:35 a.m. Next up is Umu, and Umu is actually kind of easy for this challenge because my damage is based off my nail damage and I can attack 2 or 3 times per cycle. It actually goes down pretty quickly, at least for one of these stupid videos. I like doing these videos. I'm being like comedic when I try to call them stupid. No, but like with most of these challenges, Umu's kind of a pain in the ass, but at least here it's Umu kind of goes down pretty easily. Also, for all of you asking for a Sports Room only run or a Defender's Crest only run, Umu's actually immune to both of those, so put in the comments down below if you'd still like to see those challenges, but I get to kill Umu normally, because otherwise it would be literally impossible. Maybe there's a mod that fixes that, I don't know. Who knows? Not me. That's why I'm asking. Anyways, after killing Umu, Monomon goes down easy because she is a defenseless squid woman stuck in a test tube. After killing Umu and her bodyguard, I go rush the gardens and then go fight Traitor Lord. And the thing about Traitor Lord is he only does his 2 damage hits if he's in an attack animation. Otherwise, any contact damage only does 1 mask. So I take advantage of that to do a much damage to him, and then die, and I lost the footage of a successful attempt, so please just take my word for this. It's possible, trust me. As I enter the Temple of the Black Egg, I would just kind of like to talk about something I forgot, which was Deep Nest. I went and killed, after I got the Void Heart, I went up to the door, and the Hera mask was still on there, and I was like, oh, damn it. So I went and killed Hera, and that wasn't too hard, it was just Hera. The Devouts are a bit annoying because you have to purposely run into them, but again, I'll get to why 2 damage is rough in just a second here. Just give me a moment, I promise I'll explain it. The Hollow Knight goes down pretty easily. I'm just gonna get that out of the way right now. The Hollow Knight it only does 1 damage, so I'll explain now why 1 damage versus 2 damage is really bad. With 1 damage, I'm able to heal. I have enough soul to where I will always have a surplus of soul. So I'm able to heal infinitely as long as I keep getting hit for 1 damage. But with 2 hits, I'm only getting 1 hit, or I'm only getting 1 proc of Grub Song per hit. So I only have 25 health, or I only have 25 soul per hit instead of 50. Or I only get 25 soul per 2 hits instead of 50 soul per 2 hits, which means I can't heal infinitely, which causes some problems. But thankfully, the Hollow Knight is only able to do 2 damage with 1 attack, so as long as I dodge that, I'll be fine, and then other than that, I just keep running into it, and then having Thorns of Agony proc. And now is for the hard part. The Radiance took me 30 minutes to fight. So that was awful. Well, technically, it's only the 2nd longest fight I've done for this channel. That the winner being that 1-hour Radiance Weaverlings fight I did. That was terrible. But, no, so there's 2 main things that make the Radiance really awful for this challenge. The first one being that she does not do contact damage, which means she doesn't have a hitbox. She's a background boss, technically. So I have to take damage from an attack that's close enough to her to hit her with the thorns. So that's already bad off the bat. And then the second thing is, the only attacks that I have that are close enough to hit her, and all of her attacks technically, do 2 damage per hit, and as I just described, that is bad, because I will run out of soul and not be able to heal. So I had to be crafty. I had to activate all 3 of my neurons to come up with a plan to defeat the big fluffy moth lady. So the first thing I realized was, well, I have 1 friend in this fight, and that is the Void, which is ironic that that's helping me, because in the story that's helping me. Either way, if you jump into the Void, and that's like the platform, if you jump into that Void, what happens is you take 1 damage, and then you get sent back to the middle of the platform. But that also procs Grub Song. So that means I have my infinite soul back. Thank God. So this is slow, but I'm able to slowly heal myself back up after taking lots of damage from the Radiance's attacks. So that's great, thankfully. Also, reminder, the Radiance has 1700 health, which means I have to hit it with I have to hit it 100 times. 100, and even if I get double hits every single time, which I don't, I'd still have to hit it 50 times. So that is awful. Technically Phase 2 is actually easier than Phase 1 because the Spike Floor she summons only does 1 damage per hit, and it will bounce me upwards. So if she's on the same side of the arena that the Spike Floor is, if I get hit by the Spike Floor, I get bounced up a little bit, and the Thorns can reach her hitbox, doing damage to her, making it so I'm taking 1 damage, and then so it's back to the strategy I've been using the whole run. So thank God for the Spike Floor. And when Stage 3 with the Sword Rain, that was really difficult because you have less opportunities to heal, but I was able to use the same strategy and use the spikes on the side of the arena that no one usually cares about. But thank God they're here for this specific challenge. They're actually a helpful thing. I don't know why. Oh my God, this run is so dumb. So I end up getting Radiance to Phase 4, and Phase 4 has 700 health, which means I have to hit her 42 times, of course, because it's the answer to everything, the universe and whatever. So Radiance is awful. No, the Radiance is terrible. I don't know why I did this. If anything, the Weaverling's run was better, because even though it took longer, I was able to just listen to music in the background, or I was able to just listen to music, listen to some YouTube videos while I just stood there and just focused on dodging. My controller ran out of batteries. I had to go get more batteries, because this took so long my controller died. Oh my God, this fight was so dumb. I don't know how to describe how dumb it was. It was just so dumb. It was such a dumb fight. And then I took a hit after the climb phase, just so I could use that for a teaser on YouTube. So if I don't know if, or I know the teaser, I think I put the teaser up. So that was terrible. Do not recommend fighting the Radiance with Thorns of Agony at all. Please don't do it. It's a terrible idea. Just don't do it, please, for my sake. Just don't do it. Please. Please don't do it. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, whatever. Comment, please. I like reading your comments. I think the next run I'm going to do is a Fluke Nest only challenge. I'll start with Fluke Nest and Vengeful Spirit and see how fast it takes me to beat the game with only the Flukes. So, yeah. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.